people stay at a job just for the pay? Not necessarily.
Right.
You need to have a driven purpose. Why am I going to this job? Why am I showing up? Why am I even here?
Sure.
So building that culture within the team, it's a responsibility for the leader, because if I hire the wrong person, my
Yeah.
team knows it and they'll let me know. And it's on me. If I don't take action and correct that,
Yeah.
my team looks at me as a poor leader, and if they won't follow me.
Yeah. They won't believe in you.
I found from doing these, it's usually the information before and after the questions is where you get the best stuff.
Sure.
So we can. I'm all yours now. I'm.
Yeah. Great. Well, I just wanted to catch up with you. It's been a while. We did our Zoom the other day, which is a lot of fun, and it's great seeing you again. It's been, like you said, probably over a decade now
Yeah.
since we worked together, and so just want to kind of get a little bit more understanding of what you've been doing, and do you still have a? I know you're buying in Worcester in that area, right, for a while, and when you moved to Aruba, and all that good stuff, and just want to hear a little bit more about what guys have going on.
Sure. I think the last time we saw each other was at one of the events, the partnering event. I believe that was when we saw each other face to face. And
Yeah.
at that time, we had just started the property management company. We're still actively buying, and that had been rolling out. I think at that time we were in our single digits of clients, and now looking real quick, we are at. We just launched client number 147.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's awesome. I didn't realize that you had grown that much. Is it mostly in Massachusetts or is it all over the country?
Our footprint now is northern Worcester County, primarily in the Leominster, Fitchburg, Gardner area. That's where the most of the clients are. We're now into the Worcester, Mass market. We're doing mailings out there. We're actively, aggressively doing mailing campaigns, doing a double prong approach. First, that we'd love to manage your property, and second, we'd like to buy your property.
Great.
So we're kind of killing two birds with one
Oh,
stone,
I like that approach. That's great. Smart.
or killing two birds with one stamp.
One or the other, right? One you doing two at the same time. That's about just optimizing and being efficient, right? You have two opportunities that you can offer for people.
Yes, and I know there's a lot of ground I want to cover, so I'm going to just start
Yeah.
filling in some of the buckets here.
Yeah.
Um, right now, the property management company, as I said, we're on client number 147. Of course, we had some turnover come and gone, but we're now just north of 300 units that we're managing for clients. We sold off a bunch of our assets to make the move down here three
Sure.
3 years.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I'm sure you know or I'm sure you're in the market. You know that there's peaks and valleys,
Oh
and
yeah. Never nothing goes straight up.
we thought it was a good time for us in 2020 after things settled down from COVID. We went through and sold off probably around 80% of our portfolio, got into a cash position, and then I'm sure you know this with a lot of other of your students as well. COVID changed the rules of the game. We were forced to operate remotely and not go into the office. So
Yeah.
when they started to ease up on some of the restrictions, we looked at the team and says, well, why are we going back to the office?
Yeah.
So we cashed out about 80%, and we purchased this lovely spot on the planet Earth overlooking the Caribbean. And
Nice.
we
Doesn't get
bought,
better than that.
well, yeah, no, I don't think we could have. For other locations and other areas to get this kind of view and these types of beach amenities, we would have paid possibly double.
Yeah, makes sense.
We came in here, we bought it cash, we set up the operations. We've been running our management company from here for the past 3 years. And
Oh, that's impressive. You must have some good people on your team.
we've got rock stars,
Yeah,
and
that's the key, right?
it hasn't been easy to get.
No, never is.
We've gone through probably the highest turnover on our maintenance team.
Yep.
Right now, we've got three really solid guys, and God bless them all. They're doing a great job, and if they're watching this, couldn't do
Yeah.
this without you. So thank you.
What's the biggest reason for the turnover? Inflation and them getting, to get higher prices somewhere else or going on their own?
Well, I'm gonna say it was us. We
Okay.
we had to step up our game.
Okay.
We had to be more competitive. We had to offer good pay. We had to offer benefits, and it just got so competitive. Really good quality guys were able to demand what they wanted. So now, today, and probably within the last year, year and a half, we offer Fortune 500 benefits.
Yeah.
We're a small.
Yeah, you got to change with the times, and a good business person reflects on not just what other people are doing. What am I doing? What am I doing right? And what could I do better? Not wrong, but better, right? Is a good mindset to have to run a better business. And have you ever read the book? I know you love books. I can see them all behind you. We talked about this the other day. Who Moved My Cheese?
Oh yeah, yes.
So that's kind of what, things changed after COVID, right? Or sometimes people get into real estate and they have one marketing technique and things change. At some points, there's big foreclosure, a lot of foreclosure listings, a lot of short sales at one point, but then eventually they go away. You can't be a one trick pony in many cases, right?
Who is it? Sniff and Scurry or something like that?
Yeah, I don't even know. I just remember someone gave me the book. It made a lot of sense, because all of a sudden you're doing great. It happens to the big companies, Blockbuster, you know, uh, DVDs changed, and then Netflix, and it happens to everybody. You've got to stay on top of technology or the workforce, what's available, and in apartments and everything else. That's why I always tell all my clients is, and I just say the main thing is you got to be competitive. They think they're just going to go in and add, a utility bill back system, right? And charge everyone $50 more. It's a value play in a property. And I said, you can do that and you can get 80 to 90% back, but you really got to look at your competition. That's going to drive how much you can get back, right? If you're not competitive, they're not going to rent with you. They're going to rent with someone else.
Yes. We just came back from the REI Summit. That's Brandon Turner's gig with Better Life.
Yeah.
Had the privilege of hearing Ken McElroy give a presentation. And he says property management right now is going to either make or break a lot of owners. And
I agree.
we're pivoting and adjusting in everything that we do. About a month, 2 months back, we're always doing the trailing 12s. We're always tracking the rents in our market, and
They
we're
have to.
always looking at these reports.
Trends, right? You're always looking at trends. What's going
Right.
on?
Right. So, I mean, anybody who's been renting or renting to people over the
Yeah.
past 2 or 3 years, you've been seeing rents going up and up and up and up. We're finally starting to see it level out. I don't see it dipping yet, but
Yeah.
the rate of growth has definitely cooled down. So, as you said, we have to innovate. What are the different ways that we can stay competitive? And
Yeah.
we're looking at all of that right now. Probably the last thing I want to try is lowering the rent, but that's
Yeah.
absolutely something we need to look at.
Yeah. Well, occupancy is the key. As you know, I mean, obviously you've got a ton of experience. Turnover is your biggest expense.
Yeah.
So if you have to lower it a little bit to keep people in, it's not always going to be in a growth phase. But as long as houses aren't affordable for people and there's not overbuilding, then we might be able to sustain where we're at. But who's the what? So what's your game plan? I mean, so you're still in growth mode with your management company? You have a certain number you want to build it to?
Yeah, I'd like to get to 1,500 units, which,
Wow, good for you.
yeah, that's going to multiply my team at least by four. And by doing that, we're going to provide a lot of quality housing for families that I think deserve it. And I'm
Yep.
going to put food on the table in my realm for my guys, my gals.
Yeah, employees, give people jobs, and hey, you're a great communicator, and that's one of the key things that I see out there with all, you know how many clients I've coached. is that people just don't follow through or communicate. I mean, people don't realize how much of an asset that is to get back to people, even if it's short and quick. Sorry, too busy, whatever. People just leave, don't get back to people. And if you can provide better service than everyone else, and which I'm sure you do, then you're going to do really well. So when did you start your podcast? How long ago
Uh,
was that?
we just started our second season, so we've got the first year already out there, and we're calling it a podcast. It's all on YouTube right now.
Sure.
So I've got my VA, Maria, who is like fantastic. She's been working on Buzzsprout, so we're trying to get this out as a real podcast, so you can be listening to it in Chevy Silverado University or
That's pretty cool. What's
right.
your goal with it? Like, why did you start it? Like, what's your vision for your podcast? Like, do you have an end goal with that, or
Well, moving down here 3 years ago, I looked at my wife and said, I don't have a plan. We're starting the next chapter with a blank page. I mean, we've done what we've done. The
yeah,
business is set up, it's running, but I want to start something, and I'm starting with a blank page, which sometimes is intimidating and
yeah,
exciting at the same time.
of course,
So I don't know if you've ever seen Tom Hanks in the movie Castaway.
yeah, oh yeah, I've seen that. That's a great movie. Love that movie.
So after a year of looking at the Wilson volleyball, talking to it, not
Yeah,
networking with people, is okay. This has been nice, but I really gotta start having these conversations again and talking to my peers out there in the field. And I think I had read, oh goodness, the book is behind me. It is, I'm at a loss,
that's all right.
but it's the best darn advice. I just can't think.
Hey,
Joe Fairless.
Joe Fearless, okay.
So Joe says, you have to get your deck in order, your business deck, so you can promote all that. And he says, if you've got the aptitude to do it, start a show, start a podcast. I think his whole thing is he's got the longest running real estate investor podcast.
Wow,
That's like his.
wow, that's impressive.
So I've got,
I've seen some familiar faces you've had on here. So Bill Ham, I haven't seen Bill in over a decade. Dave Seymour, so he was one of my clients. That's how we became really good friends and stayed good friends. I don't know if you saw the Flag for Hope project in part of my bio that I sent you, but he actually drove up to Hoboken to speak there for me at that time. But he's just a wonderful guy. He's so funny.
yeah,
Had him when he first was getting out, and he hadn't even been on the circuit yet. He was a fireman, and but he's always been a great speaker and great someone out there, and obviously he's had a tremendous success out there. I just connected with him about 6 months ago. Okay, I've been a while with him too. There's a handful of people, can't keep in touch with everybody, but that it's nice to stay in touch with. You build relationships along the way.
oh man, I was talking with Maria the other day. I mean, because now we're in our second year and I'm getting active, and we've got traction now because people
Sure.
are getting attracted to the show, and they say, "Hey, well, how come you haven't interviewed me?" It's just, come on,
That's a good position to be in.
yeah, come on in, right? So digging through just my LinkedIn contacts, ran the numbers of how many people I'm connected to in real estate. And I said, Maria, I've got good news and bad news. She says, well, what's the good news? I says, well, I'm connected remotely to 140,000 real estate investors.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
So she says, what's the bad news? I says, guess who's going to contact them all?
That's nice. Hey, that's leverage right there, right? You need someone on your team because you can't do everything.
Oh, no, 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 absolutely not. And I think when you were coaching us, it was just Hunju and I in a
Yeah,
bed.
it was. If I remember right. Yeah.
That was it. And then we hired our first maintenance guy, and that was a rough and rocky road. And we probably went through around 10 different maintenance guys. I want to circle back to
Yeah, sure.
offering the benefits as an employer. I mean,
Yeah,
just one spoke on the hub. Like, yeah, you do people stay at a job just for the pay? Not necessarily.
right.
You need to have a driven purpose. Why am I going to this job? Why am I showing up? Why am I even here?
Sure.
So building that culture within the team, it's a responsibility for the leader, because if I hire the wrong person, my
Yeah.
team knows it and they'll let me know. And it's on me. If I don't take action and correct that,
Yeah.
my team looks at me as a poor leader, and if they won't follow me.
Yeah. They won't believe in you.
So there's been two or three different occasions where we've hired someone and it didn't work out. And I talked to a couple of my key managers. And I says, I'm showing up. Nobody else knew
Yeah.
I was coming, but I booked a flight. I showed up in the office the next morning, sat down with the person after a 10-minute conversation. We got the keys, got the phones, showed them the door, wished them the best, wrote them a
Yeah.
check, and fixed
Yeah.
the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. That's no, that's key. As soon as possible. As
Well,
soon as you can identify it. Yeah.
my team counts on me, that, and if I'm not a leader, they
Yeah.
won't follow me.
Yeah. No, it makes perfect sense. Perfect sense.
Anybody who's hearing this, if you're working with a team, don't just put it on autopilot. You have to talk to your team. Uh,
Falls apart. Everyone thinks they can, and people get comfortable no matter what it is. Even when I was flipping properties, you get comfortable with contractors. You got to mind the store. I also find you can't trust people 100%. It's okay to trust people, but you always have to have checks and balances because things change in people's lives. That's one thing I've seen derail a lot of people along the way is that some they go through a traumatic event, maybe they're going through a divorce, maybe unfortunately they're struggling with alcoholism and fell off the wagon, and things change. All of a sudden, this person's not acting like they used to act, and so if you're not minding sport and minding the books, even more important. I've seen like hundreds of people. I teach a lot of business owners as well as just people that work in corporate America. It's sad. Friends and family are the worst ones too. I hate to say it, but that's what I hear the most. And oh my God, I just can't believe what people do out there. So yeah, mind the stores is really the key and stay on top of things. You can't.
yes, and you'd be so proud of me, Don. I
Yeah,
know that you're like a wizard in Excel and all these
yeah.
spreadsheets and stuff. We've built so many systems and operations in Google Drive.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, that's a great resource.
Yeah, I think it was maybe 9 months ago. It's like our leasing process was kind of fragmented. So I said,
Huh.
"No, this isn't working. We need a dashboard, one place where we
Yeah,
can see all the information." And one of my maintenance guys is down here on vacation, so he came in and talked with Marina, who is like the queen of the vacancy scoreboard. She can like navigate that thing like I can navigate a plate of spaghetti. So she's tearing through this thing, and Mike's saying, "Well, we need to know this, and we need to know this." So I think we're on version 7.0 of
yeah,
this, and it's operations, it's
yeah,
system, like you said, keeping your eye on the store. And anybody out there is hearing this, work on your operations, figure out how are you going to track your KPIs, right?
yeah,
Key performance indicators, and don't let the KPI be the goal. Don't say,
yeah,
okay, we're tracking KPIs. We're tracking KPIs. We're doing what we need to do. No, 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 no. That's just looking at the gas gauge. Do
yeah,
you need to fill the tank?
yeah. No, you're 100% right. 100%. Love it.
And then if you have a full tank, where are you going? Where's the journey? What's your destination? And
Yeah,
and don't like goals are important, but don't just let the goal be that one thing that you're trying to do.
right.
You have to know why you're doing, and you have to communicate this to your team. They need to know the purpose, the vision of the company, like ours is, to create a beautiful, uplifting experience.
Yeah.
That's it. You
Well,
know,
team, your family, I go through that a lot with clients too. I mean, the spouse has to be on board. It's very challenging to build a business because the demand for it takes away from the family. And if they don't understand your intentions, your goals, then they get upset about it and they pull you back from it. Your kids as well, you gotta get them on board. Why is daddy or mommy always at work or downstairs at night or but you position it like, hey, if I hit certain goals with this, if I'm doing something new or I'm building something, then we're going to go to Disney if I hit this number or something like that. So everyone's part of the team in your family, um, and they get benefits. They're not just making sacrifices. They're actually benefiting what you do. And just you talking, Brian, I love I love how transparent you are and how real you are, because there's so many people I've seen over the years that just go out there and everything's sunshine and rainbows. And that, to me, that doesn't provide any value. I mean, you might sell some people on things. You're not gonna get into all the nitty gritty right up front. But at the same time, you gotta, you're gonna make mistakes. It's okay. That's how we all learn along the way to become better. And it helps us have more knowledge, especially when we're out there, if we're sharing stuff like this or being on a podcast and sharing information. We can provide value to people to say, hey, this is what really happens out there, and here's how you can avoid some of the landmines.
Yeah, I'll be the first to confess I've screwed up. Forgive me, Father, for
Yeah,
all I've sinned. I mean,
yeah,
like I say, 147 clients. We don't have active 147 clients right now because the
sure.
beginning of our trek to do property management, we stepped on a lot of landmines.
Yeah, of course.
And we ticked off a lot of people. And, if you're seeing this, I apologize to you. And I learned from those experiences to try to make our operations better.
Yeah, and that's a challenge sometimes, is because sometimes you grow a little bit too fast because you get to take advantage of the opportunity when it's there and as they're coming and clients want to be your clients, right? Or new customers. And sometimes you do grow a little bit too fast. You think you can pull it off, and sometimes you realize you can't, or maybe you lose someone at the worst time. You really can't control. You do the best you can. But again, that communication, even if you do communicate, sometimes it just doesn't work because you just can't perform the way you want to. But it definitely helps to mitigate that, right?
Something else that we do with our teams, like when I hire guys or gals, we've done this, my wife and I for so long that we had our way of doing it. And I tell them right up front, it's like, look, this is how we've done it. I'm not saying that this is the way we need to do it.
Sure.
You're going to be out there in the field. You're going to be doing this job every day. I don't see what you see anymore. So if you see something, say something. If you have an
Yeah.
idea, speak up. I mean,
Yeah.
I want to listen to it. Let's think about it. I
That's
mean,
great. Open collaboration.
well, it gets better because they may have idea A and I may have idea B. But if we talk about it and say, okay, so what are the needs that you need and what are the needs that I need, we could come up with a hybrid of plan C
Yeah.
exceeds what they needed and it exceeds what I needed.
That's awesome. I love it. Hey, I know we didn't talk about a set time for this, but I do have a call with a client at 11:30. I
No
have six
problem.
more minutes, but I just want to give you a heads up in case there's certain things you want to mention or other things that you wanted to share. The main thing, I just want to, catch up a little bit on some of the things that we just put up on, just to kind of see where you were at, because it had been so long, and I know what you're doing in different, on the macro level. So I was curious to hear a little bit more.
Well, I will say to this, anybody out there, be coachable, be trainable. Don't think you know it all. Keep learning because I challenge myself on that every day. I
Yeah.
have a set routine. It's real boring. Coffee, 10 pages, at least a
Yeah.
half hour reading. Then I come in here, get my hot three things that I need to get done. And then I can kind of look at the team and be there for them to support them. Right now, I'm reading Dan Sullivan and Benjamin, oh God, I think it's Hardy, The Gap and the Gain. And
Yeah.
that's a real challenging book for me because, it's so easy to fall into that gap, right? It's like I'm here and I want to be at 1,500 units. It's
Yeah.
real easy for me to focus on what I don't have.
Yeah.
And, like you said, why is daddy always downstairs? How come we never see him?
Yeah.
You got to take that moment to say, okay, look behind you.
Yeah.
I started at 3 units. I'm at over 300.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's significant, right?
Yeah.
So you have to celebrate those moments.
Yeah. That's the truth. I go over that all the time, is you can't discount the positives, and you need that to have the balance. It's not like you said, you want to get there, but you want to get there with some sort of balance in your life. What are you giving up to get there? If you get there next year, you're giving up everything in your life. You have to make some sacrifices along the way, but you'll get there. The key is stay the course, right? Stay the course, have growth every year. What goes up fast, a lot of times what comes down fast, right?
Yeah,
Um,
it comes down a lot faster than it goes.
yeah, so many things you learn over the years.
I see we only got a minute or
Yeah,
so here. There is one more story I want to share with your
yeah, I'd
listeners.
love to hear it.
So I was at this conference and Brian Murray He wrote some really great books. And he did a talk, and he said he received a text from one of his assistants saying, "Hey, Brian, just thought you'd like to know your assets have just crossed the $1 billion mark."
Hmm.
That is exactly what his response was.
Yeah.
Texted back, and nothing else, because in his mind, he thought about all the sacrifices and what it physically, emotionally, mentally, financially cost him
Yeah.
to get to that point. Broken relationships, divorces. I'm sure there's a lot of other things in
Oh
there.
yeah.
You know, you may have a goal set for yourself, but just be prepared to pay the price to get there.
Yeah, pay the price and like I think we spoke about the other day, don't let someone else's goals be yours. And that was mine at the beginning for a long time. And I was working like 80 hours a week, kill myself because I thought I had to do what this other person did to be successful. And then I realized I don't even want that. That's not what I am. I want quality of life. I don't need the mansion. I had the big house, 5,000 square foot house. I don't need that to be happy. I just want quality of life. So I cut back on the stuff I was doing that's causing me a lot of stress and focused on some other things, So it's amazing. I mean, that is success. That's my definition of success, being able to realize that and be able to, because I have friends that make $20,000, $40,000 a week that still haven't got it yet. And they're not that happy and they're stressed out all the time and they don't know why. And I consult them and I'm just like, this is why. I'm happy, 10 times happier.
Well, they're living in the gap,
Yeah.
seeing where they want to be and not seeing where they've come from.
Yeah.
And that's hard. I mean, it's easy
Yeah,
for
of
you to
course.
say that, but then, if I go into the kitchen, have a cup of coffee, get on a call, and then my coffee cup goes cold, it's like, oh, my coffee's cold. I'm living in the gap. It's like, dude, heat it up.
Yeah. Fix the problem. I
Yeah.
love it. That's an easy solution. Yeah.
Don, this is always a pleasure. I'm so happy that we reconnected over a decade. You look
I know.
great.
Thank you. Same here. Same to you, Brian. An unbelievable change from, transformation that I've seen with you. So it's great in many ways.
Well, you can't see it up here, but I
Yeah.
keep motivational vision stuff up there.
Yeah.
There's me at 300 pounds when you knew.
Yeah.
There's me at 185 pounds. Grandpa's got an 8-pack.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And Grandpa's gonna be around for a lot longer now too. Right?
But not on this one because I'm seeing it is 11:30.
Yep. All right, man. So hey, be good. Nice connecting and stay in touch and congratulations on everything you've been accomplishing.
I'll wrap this up and send over the video. Don, thank you again. If you need anything, reach out. I would be more than happy to be of assistance.
Awesome. Awesome. Sounds so good, buddy. Have a great day. Take care.